co-pilot dog training in Sonoma County, California. And this is the video that illustrates the homework for the Companion Dog 1 and Small Dog 1 class, week 4. We're going to show how to add the recall cue to the Find It game and to how to teach down with a food lure. So remember that your recall cue, this week when you're training your recall cue, you're only going to say the recall cue, you're only going to use it in the context of practicing. We're not going to use it in a real life situation this week, and we're only going to say it when we are 100% sure that the dog can perform the behavior, which is immediately run and sit in front of me. So if you're outside, you are probably on leash. If you're inside the house and there's nothing else going on and you're 100% sure the dog will play the game, you can practice off leash inside. So I'm going to get 3 cookies out, 1 to throw and 2 to reward Jazz when she comes back. I will plan on marking and rewarding a second time for duration. Jazz's recall cue is C-O-M-E. So here is the recall cue added to the Find It game. Jazz? Find it. Jazz, come. Yay, good. Yes, nice job. Yes, very good girl. Jazz, release. Second mark and reward for duration. As the right hand reached down to feed, the left hand took hold of the collar simultaneously, just desensitizing Jazz to the side of my hand, reaching forward. Teaching down with a lure. Down is easiest taught with a lure. Gives the dog a very happy attitude about performing the down, and as well keeps our hands completely off the dog. The lure is once a dog learns to follow the lure into the down, it's a very easy way to get the dog to put their body into that position. So I'm going to do one with Jazz and then I'll tell you what I did. In the beginning of teaching with a lure, you don't use the verbal cue right away. We'll add it later after we know we have a way to get Jazz into the position. So I'm not using the verbal cue yet. I'm merely teaching Jazz to follow the lure into the position. Food in hand. Yes, good girl. Jazz, release. So Jazz is sitting beside me. Jazz, sit. It's very awkward to try to teach a lure if you're in this relationship with your dog. So Jazz is sitting beside me. Jazz, let's go. Jazz, sit. Good girl. I'm going to put the cookie on her nose. I'm going to bring it straight to the floor. As soon as her little elbows touch the floor, I'm going to mark with yes and open my hand. She gets to eat the cookie. Yes. Good girl. Jazz, release. Remember to try to get your release word in before the dog gets out of position. Down is a positional command and therefore has an implied stay. Okay. Anytime we teach a behavior with a lure, as soon as the dog is smoothly and predictably following the lure, we want to fade the lure. In other words, do everything exactly the same, but the food is in the other hand. So no more food in this hand. Good girl. Ready? Yes. Good job. Oops. Good. Release. There you go. She got a little no reward mark for popping up, and she corrected herself. So after 2-3 days, the dog is predictably following the lure down. Lure your dog a couple times to warm him up. Third time, put the food in your non-dominant hand. Make the same gesture. After they down, mark and reward them with food from the other hand. A couple days after that, you can add the verbal cue. It looks like this. Here, sweetie. Sit. Good girl. Food in my non-dominant hand. I'm going to give her the cue verbally and then do the hand gesture. When she gets into position, I'll mark and reward. Jazz, down. Yes. Good girl. Release. Good girl. When you're adding adding a new cue, you're adding the verbal cue, the new cue goes first. So jazz down, immediately followed by the hand gesture. She doesn't know what down means, but if you always follow the verbal down with the hand gesture, she'll just come to predict it. And she will DOWN on the verbal. Now, a couple of tricks with small dogs. It can be a little trickier getting a small dog to follow a food lure into a down. For starters, if your dog is hesitant to lay down on a cold surface, linoleum, tile, cement, do it on a carpet. Trick number 1. Trick number 2, if it's hard for you to do all that bending over, you can put your dog safely on a raised surface, such as this one. You want to be really certain that your dog is safe and not worried about being on the raised surface. Just sit. Yes, nice job. Release. And then I'll lift her down so you can teach it on a raised surface. And the final trick is to lure your dog under your leg so that as they come under, yes, good girl, release. They have to get into a down to get under your bent leg. So that's that. Have fun practicing, and we'll see you next week.